What's up, everyone? Bass here. So just a little bit ago, we got a very important update on Packers cornerback Jaire Alexander, who hurt his groin in yesterday's victory over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The tweet was put out by Tom Pelissero, and it states, Packers cornerback Jaire Alexander will undergo further testing today on the groin injury he suffered in Sunday's win over the Bucs. But there's optimism. It's not a long-term injury per source. Coach Matt LaFleur said Alexander was all smiles in the locker room after the game. So although the Packers got a very important win against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a very intense game where the defense pretty much won that one 14-12, obviously all of our concern went to Jaire Alexander on the potential of how long he may be out, because groin injuries do tend to linger around. Jaire, suffered that injury on the 6th snap of the game, was instantly ruled questionable, and then shortly after was ruled out and never returned into the game. Now, Nixon did fill in for Jaire Alexander, basically allowing Rasul Douglas to slide to the outside and then Nixon into the slot. And Nixon played the most snaps he ever has on this Green Bay defense, 57 out of 65 total snaps, and 87.7% share of snaps. And the Packers were in nickel for most of this game, a nickel position that Rasul usually plays, but obviously him sliding outside, Rasul has a ton of experience at a multitude of positions on the defense, so sliding him outside was the easy thing there, and then having Eric Stokes on the opposite side. And I thought filling in, Nixon played decent. Now, the eye test, he definitely passed. It looks like he made a few good plays, a few good tackles, and you said, okay, well, for filling in, I thought he played well. But when you look into the more of the stats side and the analytical points, he did allow 8 receptions on 9 targets for 81 yards, 5 of which went to Russell Gage for 42 yards. And of course, Russell Gage was pretty much beating up the Packers defense all night. Whenever the Bucs were moving the ball, it pretty much was Russell Gage. But he did make 6 tackles, and I really liked his tackling ability out of the slot. Now, obviously, Nixon is a special teams guy, so he's a good tackler, and that showed true in the defense as well. It seemed anytime he did allow a catch, which again, he allowed 8 of them, he made that tackle right away, and the receiver wasn't allowed to get, yards after the catch, which is really good. If you're going to allow a reception, at least tackle the guy right away, and that's exactly what Nixon did. He didn't miss any tackles, and he seems like he was right there every time someone did catch the ball in his zone or man. But what I did really like was having Rasul on the outside again. Obviously, we haven't seen that much of all this year. He's been playing nickel, basically allowing Jaire and Stokes to be on the outside, but when Rasul moved outside, I thought he played really, really well. Seemed every time there was a pass to going to Scotty Miller, Rasul was there, and he was knocking it away or breaking that pass up or right there. And every time there was a quick pass to the outside, Rasul was right there instantly to make that tackle or force an incompletion. And I really liked what I saw. Reminded me pretty much how good Rasul played on the outside last year. So maybe going forward, when Jaire is healthy, maybe we have to think about having Jaire take more nickel snaps and keeping Rasul on the outside, Stokes on the outside. But we'll see. Obviously, Jaire has to get healthy first. And although that Jaire injury did force Nixon to play more, Shamar Jean-Charles, their, 5th corner, you would call him, only saw 2 defensive snaps. I was actually shocked to not see him out there more after the Jaire injury. I guess the Packers just didn't need to play dime pretty much at all. So as of right now, Nixon is obviously the 3rd now corner, you would call him, but when Jaire is healthy, the 4th corner over Shamar. And obviously, we want Jaire to come back as soon as possible, but I thought Nixon filled in pretty well. Now, obviously, the Buccaneers, without their top 3 wide receivers, and if they had Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and Julio Jones, we might be making a whole different video right now about how poorly these cornerbacks played. Who knows without Jaire? But the initial news is definitely good. They're optimistic it's not a long-term injury, but it does seem like he might be out maybe this coming week, maybe a couple weeks. Obviously, there's more tests to be had, and we'll get more news as it comes out. But that's all I have for you guys. Just a quick injury update on Jaire Alexander. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like down below. But I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching, and as always, go Pack Go.